Here we are back in the shed. I think the next thing to tackle is going to be wiring, which is going to be a bit of a challenge because I've got this bike wiring loom, which is here in the bundle. Wasn't even attached to the bike, so I'm not too sure of the routing, so I'm going to have to work that out as far as I can as I go. I think something runs through there. I think there's a grommet got to go in there, and I'm guessing it runs down the top tube and comes this side, because all the electrics go here somewhere. Got the gear selector indicator there, and the alternator feed. So I think it's just going to be a trial fit, see how it goes. The other thing is I've only got the front half of the wiring loom, so the rear bit I'm just going to have to make up as I go. Did have a little bit of a problem with these parts here which hold the headlamp shell on. I only had one of the proper ones, which is threaded 8mm. The other one, which is on there, was one like this, so I'm guessing it's off a different machine, but that's what came with the bike, which has got a 10mm hole, unthreaded. So what I had to do was just cut down a piece of this stainless steel tube, which fits down the middle of there, and use a slightly longer bolt and a big flat washer on the back just to get that to hold. I couldn't actually find any of these on eBay, so as a fix that's what I've had to do until I can come across the correct one. Not sure whether these are supposed to face up or down, but that's the way I'll put them for now. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so the next thing will be trial fit. Let's see what we've got. I might even put the handlebars on just so we can see the length of the cables coming into here. Go from there. Right, so far so far. Just run the main loom into the headlight, fit the clocks, run the cables into there, connected up all that I can see. I think there's indicator wires here. I think that's pilot lamp. Yeah, horn hanging down there. You have to get a horn. From what I can tell, we're looking at some photos. I think these cables come around the front of the yoke, then up through that grommet in the frame, plug as far as there. This is the gear indicator cable, or gear position cable, which had a damaged plug on the end, so I've cut that off. I've also put new heat shrink on it because the old stuff was all cracked and horrible. So they have got to be connected together somehow. Probably have to just solder them, heat shrink them. Once I've confirmed the routing is correct, so I don't have to allow for any more length in it. So I can cut them because I've got plenty of spare there. I'm guessing that probably goes up and around that way somewhere, not really up inside there, not really too sure. Just put the airbox in just to make sure nothing conflicts with that. And let's say I've either got to try and get hold of the rear half of this cable, this loom, or try and find the male part, one of these plugs, and make a new loom to feed the rear and all the regulator and everything using there, which I haven't got yet. So that is about as far as I can get for now. Just ordered some proper dome nuts for these fixings here. Just got them held on with normal nuts for now. Yeah, so that's about it really. Made a little bit of a start in the rewiring, or creating a new loom rather. I've basically, on this wiring diagram, I've got all this front half. I've basically got to create all this stuff at the back here. So this block here is this one. So I'm gradually just cutting the wires and extending them so I can bring it all back to this point here, and then split them wherever they've got to go. So I'm just soldering and heat shrinking. One thing I would say, if you're going to do this, try and get some proper lead tin solder, not that crappy lead free stuff. You find it so much easier with the stuff with lead in, it flows nicely. The lead free stuff just tends to bobble up, and it's rubbish really. Just makes life difficult. So that's about as far as I can get for now anyway. I'm waiting for some more cable, more wires of these colours in there. Sort of used everything I've got laying around. The only other thing I could do is connect these up, which is the gear indicator wires. I could do those, tidy that up out of the way. But yeah, that's about as far as we got with that. Right, wiring is coming along. I've now cut out the plug that was on there, and just connected these through, run them back. Just got a bit of heat shrink here, I've just got to slide up over there. So run them back, label them as to what they are, got these down here, and some going back here. I've just got some more, like this white one needs extending to the back, and then one running off. And I think I've got to do is find somewhere to mount the electronic ignition unit. I might put it down here with the rest of the electrics. So I'm just going to have a regulator rectifier unit there, and just take that space up, so I might be able to squeeze that in down there. And the other thing that's got to go here is a relay for the indicators and the fuse, inline fuse, so I think there'll be enough space. The only other place people tend to mount them is under there, but there's not really anything to fix it to. Probably have to make a bracket up if I was going to put it under there. So I have to see where it will fit best, I think. So that's now extended. That bit is all heat shrunk in. Got all the connections here. This one is for the tail light and rear indicators, and then we've got that's the blue that just goes on to one of the wires in this lot, blue wire in that. And what have we got? Well, that's the regulator, which from the alternator. I've yet to get a rectifier. These two here, just got to run a pair of wires to pick up the ignition, the electronic ignition from the points cover. These I've just got to run some green wires up for the coils. These are the other two wires for the coils, the ground and the feed. And what else we got? That's got to connect into the feed as well. And we've got wires for the turn relay, wires for the rear brake switch. You have to get a brake switch, so I'm not sure how long I've left those long, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to need for that. And these will be the positives battery, ground, and the I think that goes to the regulator as well. So this is the Boyer Bransden electronic ignition unit, which replaces the points. That's the original back cover, which you need because these are actually built to fit the KH250, and as you can see, the adjustment holes are nowhere near big enough. I'll show you on the points cover. See the holes there. See, that's no way would that fit that. So what you have to do is remove all your points from the original cover, original plate, and even when you do that, you need to grind these pieces flat, which is where the original points attach. You can see they stick up, and that, if you tried to screw that to there, it would probably, if you tighten it down, it would probably snap the sort of fiberboard stuff. So yeah, as I say, we need to flatten these down, which means destroy, be able to fit points back in again without getting another one plate. Or what I'm going to try and do is make one so it's just a flat, just got a flat piece of alloy here. I can basically reproduce that in there. This is the only piece of aluminium I've got at the moment, and it's only just big enough, but as long as I put the adjustment slots in the right place, should be okay, I think. I'm going to give it a go anyway, and see what we end up with. Right, I've just epoxy glued, two-part epoxy glued that plate, stator plate, to the aluminium plate I've made, rather than bolting it through and all the complications with bolts at the back hitting the timing disc there. I also just put some yellow paint on the timing marks. In the instructions that does say to time it off the centre cylinder, which seems a bit unusual because I think normally when you do the points you do them off the left hand cylinder, but that's what it says, so that's what we'll do. Got it ready there, got the somewhere, got the, yeah, that's the new roller to go in with the magnets on it. So I'm ready to put that in, then I'll connect these wires through. I think I'll just directly solder them to these ones. I've got on the other end of this, which runs through here up to there, with the bullet connectors there, so if I do have to disconnect it, that'll be quite easy to do. It just runs under there. through the grommet in the back there. So I will get that in its place and then solder it up, and then we can put the router on there. So that will sit in there like that. Put some screws in, connect that up, and you can see this, see the timing mark through the window there. And the control unit is there. Which has just got to be wired in, or wires to the coils, and that one which goes to the live ignition, switched ignition. Yeah, so we're getting there. Right, so there we are. That's soldered and got some heat shrinks on there. That's lined up on the centre mark, and so what we do now is fit this rotor so the magnets line up with those coils, and there's a little pin there. There's two slots on there, so obviously that can go two different ways. You just find the way it goes when it lines up, which I think is that way. Yeah, so that's it there. And just put the original washer, spring nut, spring washer and nut. I'll just tighten that down later. That's basically it for the ignition. That's statically timed. Near enough. Might have to just tweak it a little bit. And then once we get it running, just be able to get the strobe. You should be able to see that mark okay, I think, on there. Yeah, just a note for my heat shrinks. I'll just use one of these, which is a decorator's paint stripper gun. You've got two heat settings on there. I find that works quite well for heat shrinks, especially larger heat shrinks. Little ones you can obviously just do with a lighter or something, but I find that works quite well. Right, so next thing will be, got to get some coils, new coils. I think these ones, well, I haven't tested them actually. I might just test those and see if they're any good, or I might just fit new ones anyway. Once I've got the coils, I can then run the wires, make up a cable to run back to the unit, which is in the other side. Yeah, and I'm just waiting for brake light switch, flasher unit, regulator, rectifier. Once I've got those, I can then wire up that. Next thing I do, I think I'll get the rear tail unit on and do the wiring for that, and then that'll practically be all the wiring near enough complete. And then probably get on, need to rebuild the carburetors and do that. So, latest little update. You can see, got the regulator rectifier fitted, and the indicator relay, and of course the ignition box back in there, and fuse wire, it's all connected in. These are the wires from the alternator connected up. And these ones here just need to extend that earth or ground wire up to there where I've got the other ones mounted. Seem to have rather a lot of ground wires, but that's just the way it's worked out. Just waiting for the rear brake light switch so I can do that piece there. These are the wires for the coils, which I'm waiting for, and these are the other wires for the coils. And this is the feed going back to the rear light, which is all connected up under there. And split the earth, and got my left and right indicators, and that's the rear light fitted there. So getting there really, not too much more to do on the electrics. Need to get a battery, haven't got a battery yet. And then just connect up the front end, the handlebars, handlebar controls, horn. I still need to get a horn to fit there, but that is more or less it really. That's the worst part done anyway, and I think once I've tidied these up, cable tied them down a bit, tucked them behind in there, I think that'll look pretty neat.